Fuck off.
Duncan loves complaining. He uses it to express his anger, but it never helps. He complains about not being polished. He complains about being overworked. He complains about any slight thing that doesn't go his way. Today, it was hot, which made him more grumpier than ever.
Mr. Percival's trying to kill us. He's putting us into labor during this drastic heat wave. I get no rest.
It's only about 80 degrees.
Quit your mourning and say something positive for once.
There's nothing positive to say.
Well, then keep your little Scottish mouth shut.
Enough. I know it's a hot day, but you all know better.
Pah! As for you, Duncan, go and fetch the slate trucks at the quarry and take them to Lakeside. Then you may rest for a while.
Too much work. I won't go. I want to stay in the shed for the rest of the week. You will if you don't get your wheels moving in 5 seconds.
So Duncan puffed off, but he complained all the way to the slate quarry. When he arrived, Bertram was there.
Good afternoon, Duncan. You look cheerful.
Pah!
All right, take these slate trucks up to...
I know what I'm supposed to do.
All right, man, chill. Now hurry along.
No rest, no rest, no rest. Duncan brought the slate trucks to Lakeside, but it took a while to unload them.
Come on, can't you see I want to go home?
There was worse to come.
Ah! What the hell was that for, Sir Handel?
I'm sorry, but it wasn't my fault.
Oh, really? You smashed up my slate cars.
It's all Peter Sam's fault. He was just sitting there in the station, so I couldn't get through to get my train. I had to hurry, and they gave me no warning that you were here.
Huh. Well, I guess we better go teach Pete a lesson, shall we?
Peter Sam was idling in the shed when Duncan and Sir Handel crept in. Is there something wrong?
You bet there is. You caused Sir Handel to crash into my slate trucks.
Oh, and how did I do that?
You kept me waiting in the station, which caused me to be late for my train, which caused me to hurry, which caused me to crash into Duncan's slate cars. And now they have to get more slate, and I assure you, I'm not going back.
Good grief. You guys just can't blame someone else for something that clearly was your fault. It wasn't Sir Handel's fault. It wasn't my fault either. You think I would just stayed in the station blocking other engines if I wanted to? The reason I was held up was that Bulgy had an accident blocking the road at Crossnightcruin. Oh, so now you're going to blame Bulgy, aren't you?
You bet we are. We'll teach that big buffoon tomorrow. Oh, for goodness sake. The accident's over with. Just forget about it.
But of course, they didn't. Bulgy had been chartered to carry workmen around the mountains for a few weeks. When Sir Handel saw him the next day, he didn't hesitate to give him a piece of his mind.
I have some things to pick with you.
Huh?
You caused my accident.
Bug off. I don't know what you're talking about.
Really? You caused Peter Sam to be held up in the station, which caused me to be late, which caused me to hurry, which caused me to crash into Duncan's train, breaking his slate and injuring a worker.
Bulgy thought for a minute. He knew the road accident was entirely his fault. He was speeding and ran into a lorry, but he wasn't going to admit it.
It was the lorry I crashed into. The driver was, drunk and, sleepy.
Yeah, sure. You expect me to believe that?
It's the truth, you twit.
I don't believe you. It was all your fault.
Was not.
Was too.
Was not.
Well, it was. Now if you'd excuse me, I'm gonna run along before you do something else.
Bulgy was enraged. He did not appreciate being spoken to like that. The next day, Peter Sam was taking some workmen to the slate quarry when he passed Bulgy in a village.
Careful, Mr. Bumblebus. Don't go causing more accidents.
I ain't taking more of his bull crap.
He suddenly shot forward.
Ouch!
That was uncalled for.
The police arrived to investigate.
Goodness gracious. It's only been less than 2 days, yet the same bus gets involved in another accident at the same location. This wasn't an accident. This was intentional road rage.
Well put. Bulgy lost his temper and knocked Peter Sam off the rails. I lost control of him.
That's a lie. He tooted at me so loud I lost control.
Yes, well, we'll start an investigation.
Investigation? You saw it with your own 2 eyes that he intentionally bashed me off the road.
Yeah, well, we have to follow formal procedures. When Duncan and Sir Handel heard about the incident, they were furious.
What makes him think that he can just bash other engines like that? And they're doing an investigation on it? Bureaucratic bull. I'll teach that blithering idiot a jolly good lesson or two.
And what would that accomplish?
It would escalate the situation to disaster. He's probably already going to be removed from the road. Just let justice take its natural course and stop playing a blame game.
But Duncan still had a major grudge he just couldn't let go of. The next day, Duncan came to Lakeside to pick up his passenger train when he saw Bulgy blocking a piece of track. In reality, he had just gotten stuck while on his way to leave the area, but Duncan quickly made an assumption.
Ooh, not on my railway! Oh, that's bad.
Oops. Workmen arrived to pull Bulgy out, as well as Ivo Hugh with the breakdown train. No one had been killed, but the shopkeeper had a few injuries. Bulgy had suffered significant damage, but not as much as the shop, which had a gaping hole. Mr. Percival spoke severely to Duncan.
Well, Duncan, tell me, what was the point of bashing Bulgy? He caused Sir Handel to crash into my slate cars. Bulgy may have caused something leading up to that, but the only one at fault for your accident is Sir Handel. He was going way too fast and wasn't paying attention. I've already spoke to him about it. You, on the other hand, have damaged yourself, Bulgy, the shop, and you've sent a man to the hospital. Do you feel good about that?
No, sir.
Bulgy was already being dealt with for what he did to Peter Sam. He won't be working near narrow-gauge engines again. Of course, he won't be working anywhere right now because of what you've done. Once you're repaired, you'll be working all day with Bertram at the slate quarry for 2 weeks.
Duncan growled. But when he arrived at the steamworks, he was miserable. Victor tried to cheer him up.
Well, my friend, as I've learned many times, it's just not good to hold grudges over minor things. It's better to just let justice take its course, and in this case, it most certainly did.
Duncan had to agree.
You're right. There was no point in ganging up on Bulgy. He was already being dealt with, and I was just having a bad day. Oh, but I really don't want to work with Bertram.
They're 2, they're 4, they're 6, they're 8, shunting trucks and hauling freight, red and green and brown and blue. They're the really useful crew, all with different roles to play, around Tidmouth sheds or far away, down the hills and round the bends, Thomas and his friends. Thomas is the cheeky one, dreams he's vain but lots of fun. Percy pulls the Valentine, a golden thunders down the line. Emily really knows the style. shunting trucks and